Hey guys, 2 months in with the XTRONS TE103AP car Android head unit, I want to give you an honest review about how it performed over the course of the last 2 months. And this video is not sponsored in any way or something, so I just want to show you the unit itself. I just want to show you the apps I used the most over the course of the last 2 months, of course, and then I want to give you some pros and some cons of the unit, and finally I'll give you a recommendation whether it's worth buying for you or not.
So we're here on the XTRONS webpage, and as you can see here, it's a 10.1-inch screen Android 8 octa-core unit with 4 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigabytes of ROM, which means you got 32 gigabytes of storage. I think it's plenty enough. Gotta be honest, I'm fairly impressed with the specs so far. It's a sophisticated unit technically wise. One of the main features here, if we go on to the description, you can hook up 3G, 4G modules if you want to. So it supports XTRONS 3G dongles, which are just USB dongles. You can hook up a camera, you can hook up whatever. You can actually hook up 2 cameras, you can hook up DAB+, you can hook up a keyboard, whatever. So functionality wise, there's basically nothing you want more, actually. So it's got a lot of stuff. Performance wise as well, it's a very fast unit. We'll talk about the pros of the unit later. So it's a double DIN unit, so it fits in every double DIN slot. For most cars you might need a double DIN adapter, so it ISO 2DIN size adapter for your car. It is a car stereo basically. You will need a CANBUS adapter probably for your car. So one of the sources where you can get your car CANBUS adapter from is actually Nick. Nick is a German company who's producing CANBUS adapter for all kinds of cars, especially European market. So we'll find basically everything you want to have. So if I select here Alfa Romeo, so here for example is the XTRONS CANBUS adapter, Lenkradfernbedienung, so that's German for the steering wheel controls for my Alfa Romeo 159. It's a 2006 model, so it fits perfectly. And yeah, I can pretty much guarantee that your system will work with the NIC adapters. And another thing you will need, most certainly, as I said, was a frame, so a mounting frame for your car. I can also pretty much guarantee that if you buy it from Nick here on Amazon, in this case, but if you buy it from Nick, it'll fit your car. I also bought this mounting kit here. It's a little more expensive, 38 euros. I mean, that's not too cheap, but the quality is very good. And it includes the faceplate or whatever you want to call this here. And it includes all the mounting brackets and stuff. And it just works. So if you get this, then you should be good, actually. So about the installation, I don't actually have any videos to show you here because it's been a while since then. But what I had to do is I had to take off this here. So this is the dashboard basically, or the faceplate of the dashboard. And then stuff looks like this basically. And I just show you the routing of the cables. A GPS cable ran out of here. I stuck the cable underneath here and it came through here, and then I routed it underneath the air vents, underneath here, up here, and I mounted it then in the top section here underneath the dashboard, and it comes with some sort of 3M sticky tape, so you can just stick it on there, and as you will see later, it has perfect GPS reception, so there's no chance actually that this hurts the signal strength. If it would have been metal, I would have considered otherwise, but as it's just plastic or something, it's not gonna hurt the reception. Another cable I had to route was the USB cable, which I routed also down here. Then there's a metal frame here, and you can lay the cable in front of the metal frame, and where you will end up is this plastic part here on the outside, and you can just push the cable through a bit harder, and the USB ports will then stick out here on the left side, which might not be pretty for everyone, but you will see later in the video that it'll actually look not too bad, and you can stow them up there if you want to. And that's basically all the connectors you need. Of course, you also need to connect your CANBUS adapter and stuff, and your radio antenna, but that's just basic radio installation, so there's nothing really to say about that. So heading over to the car now, opening the door real quick, you can see the interior here, you can see the USB ports on the center here, and that's what it looks like when it's mounted in the car. This position here shows you pretty well the driver's view, so you can see up the 3 gauges here. They're pretty much visible all the time. You should lean a little forwards to fully see them, of course, but yeah, that's just it.
So this is my home launcher. I'm using Nova Launcher as my main launcher because I just like the design of it. You can customize it to your likings, and I think it really looks very clean. You can customize the icons and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll just show you the main apps I'm using here now. First of all, of course, the telephone app with your standard dial and with your search button for searching a phone, and of course the Bluetooth settings. Yeah, you can change that to whatever you want. You can change the pin, you can change the name of the device if you want to do so, and it functions really well, gotta say. Then my standard music player is a Black Player X, which I bought, so I'm not going to show you the music here. I set it up so that it starts into my current playlist, and what you can see here, you can do this great view here, which is not possible in the standard player, which comes with a stereo. Yeah, I like to do that, and you can swipe over to the artists and then select whatever artist you want, and it gives you a quick description of what you got from this artist. So I really like that as my standard player, and it's just a clean look. I mean, I really appreciate the look of this player. Yeah, I'm not going to play on too long for this here. I'm going to talk very loud, so you can see here, you can swipe through that, and just like that. Very cool. Then let's go on to the next app, which is basically the radio app, which comes with the device. So I'm not gonna play it too long here. You get the gist of it. So you can look for the stations here. You can set it up to stereo, so that it just to detect stereo stations, local, regional, AM, of course, and FM. Yeah, you can swipe through here, so you can have up to I think 18 stations here. You can set it up to detect traffic assist, so whenever there's a traffic announcement, you can or basically it interrupts the other music and gives you the traffic announcement. You know that, like standard car stereo stuff. Next app is the Sygic app, which is one of my favorite apps, to be honest. It's also the paid version. I'm going to delete the root here because I'm not actually going to go anywhere. So you can see here I'm currently near the airport of my city, and yeah, it's very handy. You can see live traffic data, so there's a road work here, and there's mediocre traffic along the way. That's very nice, very clean interface. I appreciate the looks of it, and just so that you know, I can go whatever. Let's go to the parking silos in Trieste, and you can scroll on here and it shows you a 3D view of the city. Oops, so click too often here. 3D view of the city, and yeah, just click start. It'll calculate the route, which is currently like 300 kilometers away, and it tells you 2 hours 52. It's a really good navigation software, to be honest, but I'm not reviewing the app. I really like it in my car. You can use it offline, of course. You don't have to have internet connection to actually use it, but of course if you want to have live traffic data, you need the internet connection. Let's get out of there. Next app, of course, is a Spotify. For when I got cellular connection and I want to listen to music I do not have on my USB drive, I'm using Spotify then. So you can see here, it looks okay. I mean, it's not really designed for landscape mode, I'd say, but it looks fine. And when playing a track, I think it really looks cool. Well, there's nothing much more to say about Spotify, you know it. Next thing is Vlc Player. For example, I'm currently here watching Initial D because I really love the show. I'm just clicking in so you can see what it looks like. Whatever, you know it. I'm not gonna play any sound here. Sound quality is really good. Vlc Player, of course, is very easy to use as well. I also have the videos on my USB storage, as I probably just said. Of course, next one you can only use when there's cellular connection, which is the YouTube app. You know YouTube. I mean, nothing to show you here, but it's really cool to have it on there if you want to watch something, or if you want to play music videos while you're riding with your friends or whatever, and you don't have the music or Spotify doesn't have it. Next thing I like to use occasionally is the SpeedView GPS Pro. I really like the design of it, and it goes well with my red dashboard. I mean, not my red dashboard, but the red dashboard lights. You can show your speed here, and it's using the GPS, of course. One cool thing is, going into settings, you can set it up to whatever color you want it to be. For example, if you got a fable for that light blue here or whatever that is, swipe back and bam, it's light blue. So that is very cool. Close it. And next thing I got on my home screen is the Sounds app, which is just a standard equalizer. Well, yeah, that's basically it with my home screen. Now, one thing about Nova Launcher is that you can swipe up, like in the Google Pixel or Samsung Galaxy S9. So I really like that to go into the main menu. Now, let's check all the apps I got installed. So you saw most of it already on my home screen, but these are the apps I got installed. So let's check. One of the apps I really like on my radio is Gboard, of course, because I don't like the looks of the standard keyboard, and Gboard really is, I think, one of the best. Going into the settings of my Nova Launcher, I can show you which theme pack I'm using. So the theme pack I'm using is called Yitax. You can get that on the Play Store, and I think it looks really clean. It's a very clean design. I like to keep it simple, to be honest, because like you don't want to have a complicated dashboard while driving, or a complicated home screen while driving. You want to navigate quickly. You want to recognize all the icons. And what you can do with Nova Launcher is, if you don't like this icon, for example, you get on Change or Edit, and then select the icon, and then you can select your theme, and after that you just select your icon you want for it. So that's very cool. That's one of the reasons I chose Nova Launcher over the standard launcher. Well, that's it for the apps.
Some more interfaces of the head unit and where they are installed. Of course, up here on the top, as I showed you already, is the GPS module, so it's behind the dashboard faceplate and underneath the plastic up here. So it's stuck there from below, and I will show you how the GPS reception is, although it is underneath the plastic, and as you can see, it gets pretty much everything you can get out of the GPS module. There's no way this is hindering the GPS reception in any way. Another thing I wanted to show you was the two USB outlets and where they're located, so this is just a close-up of the USB outlets. The last two pictures I wanted to show you are from behind the display. Here you can see where the two SD card slots are and where the microphone is for the Bluetooth hands-free device, and of course the DVD drive on the top of the unit. And you can also see the mechanism for tilting the display, so you can adapt the tilt to your dashboard as you like. This is also be seen on the XTRONS webpage. So about the pros and the cons of the system. The best point is basically that it is an Android system, so you got a ton of apps, lots and lots and lots of apps. All the apps you have on your phone, you can put it on the radio. So doesn't matter what, you can install, for example, Netflix, you can install whatever, really. So this is, I'd say, including all the stuff you can do to Android, like for example, modding it or putting a superior launcher on there. This is what makes it great. So you don't need to be satisfied with the standard launcher it comes with. You can't do that on a Pioneer unit or anything. So you get what you want. You can fully customize it to your likings, and I'd say this is the most important point of this unit. Then, of course, second one, the low price. So it's about 300 euros at the moment. If you compare this to the most bare bone Pioneer unit, doubled in unit, let's say, which also costs in the realm of 250 euros, you get a very sophisticated unit with this. You get GPS and stuff. So the price is a good point for this. Compare it to a Pioneer or Alpine unit with a touchscreen with the same capabilities, you're going to look up to 700 and above. So that's why the price is so good. Then, of course, it has GPS. There's just nothing more to say. Like, as I said, for the price and stuff, and you get GPS, that's very cool. Another cool feature I really like is an Android feature, which is the split screen. So you can show two apps simultaneously. For example, you want to navigate somewhere, but you also want to have your, let's say, YouTube or Spotify or your music player on the same screen while you're driving, but you don't want to miss out on the navigation. You can put them in there simultaneously as shown. Another one is that it's very fast and snappy. So it has an octa-core CPU, as I said already. It's got 4 gigs of RAM, which is plenty for an Android system. So it doesn't get rid of apps which are running in the background. So you can always switch back into these apps and they don't need to load again. That's a very good point for this one. And last but not least, it also got the hands-free, as I told you. When connecting your phone via Bluetooth, you got your hands-free capabilities, and the quality, sound quality, without the external mic, so you can get an external mic as well, is fairly good, I'd say. Now, going to the cons, it's a two-edged sword. Android system, I'd say it's also a con of this system, because Android is a phone and tablet system, And I'd like to I'd like to say it's more complicated than, for example, an Alpine or a Pioneer unit. You might disagree with me. I might disagree with it myself because I'm a power user, so I know what to do on an Android system. But someone going in there, maybe an iPhone user who's just occasionally using their phone or their tablet or something, and who's not really into that kind of stuff, maybe finds it more complicated than, let's say, the Pioneer one. Another very important point is that it might not fit in every car, as it's not just a double DIN unit. So the first thing is you need a double DIN sized slot for your car, or adapter at least. And then with the extra dimension of the screen, which is 10.1 inches, it's not going to fit into the double DIN. So it means it's going to stick out, as you've seen in the video. Which means it can block some gauges, it can block you from shifting, which is not the case for me, thankfully, but this could theoretically be possible. So you could possibly not be able to reach some of your buttons you would normally need to reach. Then another point is the glitchy radio app. Meant by that is that sometimes, for example, you're going through a tunnel, it's looking for another station, and it's looking for the same for the new frequency of that station, and what it does, it just changes to another station. So it's not going to actually look for the same station. Why in the world it would do that, I don't know. So it just swaps to another station, even though if you don't want to listen to that station. Another point in this respect would be that sometimes when you park the car longer, then it just flushes the radio stations you've saved, stuff like that. So the radio app isn't really that well. I would like to see an update for the radio app. Maybe there's going to come something soon. So it's just software. It's nothing really bad with the unit itself. Then another big point is the no speed volume. So it doesn't have speed volume. Most modern cars have it. When you go faster, it'll increase the volume of your radio by speed, let's say. So the faster you go, the higher the volume. That's missing in this one. I don't know, maybe I've done something wrong connecting it, but I don't think so, to be honest. It's just not possible for me. Last thing, which is a weird one, it's the weird ringtone for incoming calls. It's a very screeching sound. I hate it, and it's far too loud. So when you're listening to music, maybe it's depending on the actual volume you're listening your music to, but sometimes it's just really, your ears are gonna start to bleed with this ringtone. I haven't found the settings yet for this. Maybe there are settings, maybe there are not. I didn't find them yet, but for me, it's just this is really annoying. With all this said, should you buy it? I mean, there's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons, and the answer is it depends. Of course it is. Like, you really need to think, does it fit into your car? Maybe check the internet if there's a double DIN bracket, and maybe you have a 10.1 inch tablet lying around. Just try to fit it in your car and see whether you like the looks of it. I think it doesn't look bad. I think the unit itself looks very good. The build quality is good. If you want a cheap head unit that has all of the functionality you can dream of, that has all the additional stuff you can buy for it, like, for example, as I said, the external microphone, or the cameras, or the DAB plus, or the whatever. So there's a lot of stuff you can buy for this. If you want to really have a unit which is cheap and has all the functionality, you want it. Android head units in general, I'd say, have a very good price to functionality ratio compared to the big brands like Pioneer or like Alpine. This said, there's a lot of competitors out there on the market, so quality wise, I can definitely recommend it to you. Maybe you check out XTRON's other products. I'm pretty sure they all work pretty well, but generally I'd say it's a good head unit for the price, and I don't regret buying it. Well guys, that's it. I hope you liked the review of the device. Maybe write into the comments what you liked, what you didn't like, if you're considering buying this unit after the review, or if you're considering another unit. Just post whatever you want. Thanks for watching, and yeah, maybe see you next time. Bye, have a good day.